Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. I am just cozied up with a cup of tea. Ooh, it's my R mug. I didn't know because Will got my tea for me this morning. And I thought that I would do a get to know me tag. There are so many on the internet. I actually got inspired to do it based off of one that I saw from Lydia Lee Smillen, and I thought she was just so charming and there were such lovely questions on it. Unfortunately, I couldn't find her exact tag, so I am going to just go through a couple of the ones that I found on the internet. My full name is, well, I was born Rachael Sarah Epstein, which is like the most Jewish name in the world, and now of course it is Rachael Forster. My nicknames, Rachael, mostly Ray, which I love actually, and in Scottish Gaelic means grace, so I like it even more. And then my sisters always called me Muppet because I was obsessed with the Muppets, and Monkey, pretty much, because I have like monkey feet and I can pick things up off the ground with my feet. I am in New York right now, just for now. Favorite food would be either like a green smoothie or pizza or tacos. Which is my favorite TV show is probably, God, I watch so many things. I watch everything from like Geordie Shore to you know, like the OA on Netflix to, oh, I loved Gossip Girl just because living in New York and growing up in New York, that was a big thing, or growing up like around New York. Perfect date would probably be something fun or like really relaxing. Like I like going to a concert. I like, when we lived in LA, the idea of like surfing and then having like a beach picnic was really fun. I don't like the like very normal like sit at a restaurant and have dinner and go to a movie and just, you know, I just find that boring. Like I think it's so much fun when you sort of like push each other to your limits and just like see how people respond, and I feel like that's like a better way to get to know each other. My style icon, I have so many, but Brigitte Bardot, Princess Diana, Jane Birkin, Grace Kelly, those would be sort of the classics. And then modern day, Alexa Chung, Kate Middleton sometimes. This stuff. I know there's so many people whose style I admire and I just can't seem to think of them right now. I'll get back to you. My blog, actually there's another video on this, but basically I started my blog as a way to like connect to people and hopefully do some good in the world, and because I loved fashion and I love sharing my clothes, and that's sort of where it started. It was really actually to sort of stay connected with my family while I was at university, and then it grew into something where I could meet people from all around the world. My short-term goals right now would be to get our move to London happening, build my YouTube channel, build on my blog, be happy, be really happy, and just focus on every single moment and enjoying life in every single moment. So I would say that's it. And then right now I'm currently working on a bridal business, and I think that is a big focus of mine, and you will definitely see more about that. My long-term goals would be to become really established in this industry, to maybe even sort of swing it over into entertainment a little bit, to be really involved in philanthropy, and I think Will and I both really dream, my husband, dream of one day owning like a estate or a castle and turning it into like a little B&B and welcoming people across the world and creating it so you sort of like bid on your room. So if you're like a newlywed couple, because we didn't really have the money to go on a honeymoon when we first got married, so if you are a new couple and you don't have very much money, we would be like, okay, just, you know, give us $150 for 4 days, you know, like that sounds really, really fun. And we've been sort of looking into properties and building that. I would say my inspiration comes from my family. My sisters are the most resilient women I know, and I am so proud of them every single day. The things that they did for my brother and I growing up, because my sisters were 14 and 15 years older than us, were huge. And I think that is, to me, one of the most inspiring things. I think Princess Diana, she, you know, sort of fought against the system that she was in to really fight for the causes that she cared about. And I think a lot of women of I don't want to say power exactly, but of creativity and wit, and women who aren't afraid to be outside the box. I have a dog named Branson, and he is the best thing in the world in my eyes. I didn't really have a teddy bear growing up that I was like super attached to. I did get a teddy when I was like 7 that was from Peru, and it was made with alpaca. And I was in love with it, but it wasn't soft or anything. It was just like really exciting to me that it was from Peru. I can't really say I have a favorite band or artist, because I listen to everything from like Chopin to like Kings of Leon to We Were Promised Jetpacks to Selena Gomez. So it's really hard to sort of narrow it down. I think if I had to choose one artist, it may be like something like the Coasters with some like old Motown, or Van Morrison. I have a lot of fears. I'm afraid of flying. I'm basically afraid of like anything popping out at me. I'm just like very hypersensitive, so I'm like, there's a spider. Like, I definitely have a lot of like fears and weird paranoias. If I have to choose between tea or coffee, it is absolutely tea. I am not a big coffee drinker. I really do not need more caffeine. I'm a pretty hyper person. My favorite book growing up, definitely Harry Potter. And I love A Movable Feast from Ernest Hemingway. I don't know, I just, like Ernest Hemingway and Fitzgerald and all of those like expats from the 1920s. I love that world, just being immersed in that life and that world. Tea time, hold on. It would be And God Created Women, which I love. I think it's such a great narrative on sexuality and femininity. Otherwise, I definitely watch the Harry Potter movies. I watch those all the time. My favorite clothing shop. I mean, I love going into big department stores like Bergdorf Goodman, Harrods, Neiman Marcus, things like that, just because I love the choice. I don't like to have to stick to one brand or designer, because I never know what I'm gonna really fall in love with. I am 5'3" ish. Take or leave a few centimeters. I break a bone probably every year. I've broken my clavicle, 2 of my ribs. I've broken most of my fingers, most of my toes. I broke my kneecap, really painful. I think those are basically it. I mean, though that's a lot, so I don't know why I'm like, that's basically it. That's it. No, I regularly get into accidents. I'm very accident prone. I have no piercings other than my ears. I've never been a piercings girl, but I do have 5 tattoos. I have a heart on my wrist. I have a chai, which is Hebrew for life, on the back of my neck. It's dedicated to my grandmother, which is kind of silly because Jewish people aren't necessarily supposed to get tattoos, so that was a good one, Rach. I have non le spezze leale on my hip, which means you cannot break my wings. And it's also the title of a book in Italian by this author and lovely woman named Marina Delgado, who more famously is known as Chiara Ferragni's mom. and but she's now like a great friend and really lovely. I have the latitude and longitude points of where my husband and I got married. He has a matching one. And then my first tattoo ever was a quote on my ribs that says, "Fate loves the fearless." I don't really have any regrets because I feel like you're supposed to learn something from every mistake that you make, and I would say that like my biggest growth experiences come from decisions I've made or things that maybe got me into a pickle. So I would say that I really don't live with regret, and I also am the kind of person where if I've done something wrong, I will apologize, even if it's like been a year or 2 years. I always make amends. I always really go out of my way. What would I name my children? This is very interesting. Will and I like the more pretentious names, but for boys, we've been kicking around things like Fraser. Well, we sort of settled on, if we had a boy, Fraser, Anton, Brooklyn, Forster, because Will has 2 middle names and I was supposed to have 2 middle names, so we sort of like that. And yeah. And so basically we just really like Fraser. We think it's really pretty. We have for years. And Anton would be after my best friend who passed last year. And Brooklyn, I have no idea why. We just like the name. And then for a girl, we love Emmeline, Rose. And then we keep sort of going back and forth on like what the third name would be, because I love Marquesa and he thinks it's absolutely ridiculous, but she was just a really inspiring woman. Most people just know the brand, but the woman behind the brand was this really inspiring patron of the arts. I don't know, we're really kicking things around, but Emmeline is a really big one, and it's a name in Will's family, so that's what we would probably name our children. Shall we have some? Last time I cried was last night when I watched the Diana, Our Mother biography. Yep. A lot of tears. Even Will cried. It was really beautiful. I suggest you guys watch it. Sorry if I'm losing my voice a little. Damn, these summer colds. If I was would I be my own friend if I was someone else? I think I'd be my friend. Yeah, I'm really loyal. I'm really caring. I think I'm thoughtful, and I like to have a good time. So I'd be my own friend. Yeah. The first thing I notice about people is probably their eyes. Do they make eye contact? How do they greet me? That kind of stuff. Like, I love people who, you know, will look me in the eye and give me a handshake. Or just, I'm a hugger, so like I always joke, you know, like, oh, I lived in LA for 3 years, so I just go in for the hug. You know, I hug. I like to hug people. It is what it is. If you see me on the street, come up and say, I hear you're a hugger. Let's do this thing. I was born in Morristown, New Jersey. That's right. I spent many years pretending that I was not from Jersey, but I am. That's life. Deal with it. No judgments. My hobbies include watching British panel shows, cooking, long walks on the beach, long walks with my dog, shopping, sending inappropriate texts over my family group chat. First best friend was a girl named Julie Vecchio. She's lovely. We still keep in touch, and yeah, she's always just been like one of the loveliest people that I have ever known. How many countries have I been to? I don't know, actually. But that's at least 9, which is such a blessing. Holy moly. I almost said the C word, but I'm trying to keep it clean. My favorite drink, alcoholic, would be Prosecco. Non-alcoholic would just be like water with lemon. My favorite animal would be a horse or a unicorn if you got one. I didn't really play a lot of sports growing up because I was a huge theater geek. My favorite memory from childhood would have to be, we used to have like a back room that opened up to the outside, and our laundry machines were in there, and the pipe burst on our washing machine, and water was getting all over the floor. So my 2 older sisters and my mom opened up the back door. It was on Christmas, by the way, to try to sweep out the water, and they just couldn't do it fast enough as it was filling up, and it just started to freeze. And rather than being like, oh, this is a huge drama, I can't believe, and it was on tile floor, so it wasn't so bad as far as water damage, but rather than being like, this is the worst thing ever, I can't believe this, blah blah blah, we just took it as like a really fun opportunity to ice skate in our house on Christmas. It was fantastic, and I think that pretty much sums up my family. Describe my fashion as feminine, ladylike, feminine, polished, but eclectic. My worst habit would probably be cursing. Do I believe in God? I do believe in God or the universe, or kind of whatever you want to call it. I don't believe that you need to sort of like identify it religiously. I'm not religious. I'm very spiritual though, and I think that's sort of, yeah, that's where I'm at. Like, I believe in a higher being, whatever you want to call it. I think it's sort of loaded to call it one thing or the other. I definitely believe in miracles and a little bit of magic. I think that we're sort of the facilitators of our own miracles, and not to sound really corny, but like, if you can believe it, you can achieve it. And I do believe that there are so many things unexplained by science that it's just sort of silly to believe. And this is coming from someone whose uncle was like a scientist for NASA. I think it's just silly to believe that there isn't room for more, for things that don't have scientific explanations. I definitely believe in myself. Some days are harder than others. But I think everyone you have to believe in yourself. I think if you don't, you are discrediting yourself. And you're discrediting your abilities and your chances to live the life that you love and live a life that makes you happy. So if you don't believe in yourself, I really urge you to. And that doesn't mean that you have to be like conceited and be like, I'm the best, I'm the prettiest, I'm the coolest, I'm blah 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 blah. Like, I'm gonna have like millions of dollars and like, you guys just watch me. Like, I don't believe it has to come from that as much as it just kind of comes from self-love and knowing that you are capable, and knowing that you yourself are a being of something special just by having been created. So that is my get to know me tag. It's a little longer than I expected, so I might cut some of it. But I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you like me and all that I am, subscribe below. I feel like I always do the weirdest things when I ask you guys to subscribe. It's like I'm like a show pony. Anyway, and thank you for watching. I am always really grateful when I see the views going up. I'm like, ooh, people are interested. Yeah. Hi humans, comment and like, let's have combos. And yeah, so thank you for watching. I'll see you soon.